So if you're Cobra Golf and you're just coming off the back of two of the biggest years ever for driver for you, what are you going to do for 2021? So that's right, Cobra have got a new line of drivers called the Rad Speed. So we've got Rad Speed, Rad Speed XB, and Rad Speed XD. Now I've got the Rad Speed and the Rad Speed XB to test today. We're going to look at some of the new technology in the head, so promising more ball speed, more consistency off the driver face. But as ever, I'm going to put them side by side, Titleist Pro V1X, on Trackman down here at Heron's Reach, and we're going to see, is the new Cobra Rad Speed driver something that you should be looking at? So when you look at the Rad Speed driver, on top we can see the end of the infinity face there and a much more matte carbon crown, really lightweight and thin again so they can redistribute the weight in the head. But the big story this year is the radial weights. So we've got a couple of 8-gram weights up near the face, and on the Rad Speed we've got a 12-gram weight and a 2-gram weight that are interchangeable. So I've got the 12-gram weight near the face to keep the spin down. We've also got a weight in the back that's fixed, that's 8 gram. And the idea with the radial weights is that the further apart they can get the weight in the head from the center of gravity, the more forgiving that driver is going to be to maximize club speed and ball speed. But that's the Rad Speed, which is aimed at the slightly quicker swing, who's looking for maximum ball speed with low spin. And the other model I've got is the Rad Speed XB. So when you look on the top, again, you can see the infinity face, which has been carried over from SpeedZone, which was very popular last year. When you look at the Rad Speed XB from the top though, a much more polished carbon crown, much longer from face to the back edge of the club, so getting that weight further back and wider to give more forgiveness. When we look at the bottom, the radial weights are 4 grams near the face, so not as much weight near the face as there was in the Rad Speed. No interchangeable weights now, so we've got a 6-gram weight in the back, and the fixed weight is actually 14 grams. So with the two drivers, definitely the technical aspect. For me, Rad Speed, we're talking about ball speed, low spin, maybe not quite as much forgiveness, but much more forgiveness than last year's model, apparently. Whereas the XB, you know, much more weight back, away from the face, maybe going to launch a little bit higher, spin a bit more, so maybe a little bit more control, but Cobra's still saying lots and lots of ball speed. There's the techie stuff. What we really want to know is, do these work? Right, and so like I said, I've only got 2 of the models. So the Rad Speed XD is more draw biased, which, to be fair, the way I swing the club and the speed I'm swinging the club at, not really aimed at me. So I'm going to look at the Rad Speed first, followed by the XB. So there's definitely some theory in there, isn't there, for the technology? The radial weight, hopefully more consistent ball speed across the face. I just think the biggest challenge for Cobra is they've had 2 fantastic years with F9 and SpeedZone. I really like the way that the Rad Speed looks. My only little criticism, and maybe it's because I've not seen it enough, I'm not sure the infinity face, which is quite kind of polished, going into the matte head. Not completely sure on that look. Might be something I get used to. But ultimately, if it performs, I'll get used to it. So I know what I'm expecting to see from driver. Let's see if this stacks up. So a little bit low off the face, but fairway finder. So 108 ball speed, 108 club speed, 157 ball speed, 260 carry, just under 280 total. Now, that's definitely one of those, isn't it, where a little low on the face. Do I still maintain ball speed? Yes, that was pretty good. But unfortunately, still expecting to see that spin jump up, which is what we did see there. So a better strike, but that one drifting, that's in the deep stuff. Now, not great spin there, if I'm being honest. So, performance-wise, not quite what I would be hoping for. So, let's hit a few though, because we always want to see what those averages are, any miss hits, and what the really good ones are. We like that. So really good performance. And as you'd expect, that's kind of the perfect strike for me. Just slightly toey, keeps that spin down. 2-3 spin. Good ball speed. I mean, I'm not swinging quite at my quickest. That's partly me, partly is it's absolutely freezing down here at Heron's Reach. So I think ball speed 160 would be benchmark for me today. Anything over 160 is quick. So at 159.3, that's good. And it's like everything. I think the driver needs to be set up correctly and you need to get fitted. So again, felt okay. Maybe just feels a little bit hard. But some good numbers. Getting the ball out there. Let's go one last one with Rad Speed. Now, so far, I think ball speed's definitely being retained, kind of up towards that top end 150. So I would argue or suggest that maybe that radial weight system is maybe giving a little bit more forgiveness. And again, that should be good for me. Club head speed 110. Ball speed just normalizing there to around that 160. 2.8 spin, but 267 carry, 287 total. So I know that's only a handful of shots, but let's look at some averages. So let's look at kind of, I know my club head speed is going to be fairly consistent. Let's look at what the strike was as an average. Let's look at the ball speed. Let's look at the overall performance. But this is the one maybe aimed more at the higher club head speed, that are looking for more ball speed, low spin, and getting the ball out there. Okay, so if we look at the averages with Rad Speed there, club head speed 108, round about where I'd expect to be. Ball speed 158 as an average, which is good. I do like that. Strikes maybe a touch on the low side, if anything. Therefore, I'd expect that spin rate to be up a little bit on where I would be. But under 3,000, sorry, is acceptable. I've got a couple right in the middle of the fairway, one just off the edge, one off the planet. Now that's me, the driver's not helping with that. But all in all, pretty solid from Rad Speed. Right, so Rad Speed XB. So no movable weights front to back. So we've got the weight in the back. I've actually got more weight in the back as well. So we've now got 14 grams in the back of this head. So again, different to look at. So whereas we're a very matte finish with the crown, this one a shinier finish, which, to be fair, maybe the infinity face kind of just blends a little bit more into this. But this club head much longer front to back. So straight away when I look at this, this looks like a driver that's designed to be a bit more forgiving. But XB still about getting some speed off there. So I might expect, I've got the same loft setting. So this is down at 9 degrees as I had that one. Just be very interesting to see here, does ball speed stay up because of the forgiveness? And what the spin does, because maybe expect this to just spin a little bit more, but the proof is always as the result. Okay, so sounded nice, just drifting down the right. So good strike. Club head speed right on point. Ball speed just back a little bit. So certainly launching higher, spinning a bit more, and therefore not going quite as far. But I did like how that felt, and I like the sound with XB. Again, love the noise. So a little bit more speed. So ball speed not quite matching up again, a little bit more spin. So definitely off these first couple. XB not going as far as Rad Speed. Predominantly a little less ball speed, which will definitely be down to a little bit more loft because of that weight at the back, and then definitely a little bit more backspin. That'll be interesting. So slightly low off the face, so that'll launch a bit lower. Ball speeds then stayed up. But again, pretty spinny. Now it's interesting though, because definitely as there's been more spin, definitely seeing a bit more accuracy on the shots. Let's keep going though, because I've always got that bad one in me that'll disprove that. Now that was very low off the face. Now this is where we're hoping that the forgiveness keeps the speed up. So we can see smash dropping down, spin jumping up. So for me, not maybe as forgiving as I would hope. So let's go a couple more. So bearing in mind this is more forgiving, I'm going to try and really go after these last couple, see if I can get a little bit more speed, see what it gives me. So again, 110, and again, decent shot. I'll take that all day long, but very, very spinny, costing me a little bit of carry and certainly costing me on roll. So one last one. Again, felt good, like the shape. Again, a little bit more speed. Certainly club head speed, but ball speed not really picking up. So for me, there's really good stuff with XB. But let's look at the averages and see how that stacks up. Right, so I actually swung XB a little bit quicker, at just under 110. Ball speed at 158 though, so that kind of doesn't stack up. So my smash factor, even though more out the middle of the golf club, performance not quite as good. Now that's where I would probably, being honest, say that these are samples and I've got these as close as I can to what I would need, but we're definitely seeing a drop off in performance there from too much spin, costing me carry, costing me total, but from an accuracy perspective, actually very, very good. Right then, so Rad Speed and Rad Speed XB drivers, are they good? Yes. I think all the manufacturers nowadays are making really, really good product. Are they game changers? No, not for me. I mean, I think the hardest thing now, particularly when I'm doing reviews, is manufacturers have been making really, really good drivers now for a number of years. So I think if you've been fitted correctly in the last 3 or 4 years, I'm not sure you're going to see a big enough difference in performance with anything on the market to want to change. Now, that's not to say that you won't change or shouldn't change. You've got to get along, get fitted and see if things stack up. Because interestingly for me there, I actually hit a lot of fairways with the XB. Now, I know everybody says it's great to be hitting the short stuff. I don't want to give up the distance that that would give me. So that's where in the fitting you make that decision to see what your priorities are. But they are good drivers, and I think if you've got a driver that you're not happy with, or something that's older than 3 or 4 years, you know, the Rad Speed driver is something that you should be trying. You know, it's going to be a great price point again, so a little bit less than some of the other major manufacturers, but good drivers. They do perform. They ultimately need setting up as well as possible. And like I said, these are samples for me, so that these are as close as I can get with what I've been sent. I really appreciate the fact that Cobra let me get hold of these early enough to test, but I reckon I could squeeze a little bit more with better lofts and slightly different shafts. But good drivers, if you're after a new driver, get along, try the Cobra Rad Speed. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it, comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you have enjoyed today's video and you don't currently subscribe to my channel, please consider clicking the button below. Remember to ring the notification bell and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all the social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.